Hi everyone, this is Ravi. Welcome to Postman Beginners Tutorial. As you all know, I've already covered 13 YouTube videos covering different topics of Postman tool. So this is our lesson 14 where I'm going to teach you about the path variables. What is path variable? And then how can we use these path variables in Postman? And what is the use of path variable in Postman? Please do subscribe to the channel. Click on bell icon. You'll receive notifications whenever I publish more videos. Thank you. So this is my Postman tool. Okay. So before we start understanding about the path variables, let us first visit one website from where we are gonna take some fake API request messages. So the website name is fakestoreapi.com. Okay. So if you go to docs, so this particular website has a different types of API requests and responses. So you can find the end URLs for all these API requests. For example, you have products. So you have an API request for get all products, get a single product, right? In the same way, cart, get all carts and get a single cart item, users, login, right? All these different methods that are available in website. If you go to get all products, you can see this is the end URL from my get all products, show output, and this is your response, right? And if you want to get a single product, this is your end URL and this is your output. So like this, in the same way, get all products, right? This is the end URL and this is your response for the get all products. Okay. So this is the website that I'm gonna use for this particular session. I'm gonna paste this URL in the description. You can use the URL from the description. So let us go back to our Postman. So here, let me first create a folder under collection called ficus root. Okay. I want to add folder and I want to name this as path variables. Okay. So now under this folder called path variables, I want to add a request. I'm adding a request message. I'm name this as get products. Get products. So here to get the products, what is the endpoint? So let's see get all products. So this is our endpoint. You can simply copy this endpoint and paste the endpoint here. So before we move forward with the session, let us first understand what is path variable. If you see the naming convention itself, it says path variables. So I have already explained you regarding the global variables and local variables, right? So global variables and local variables are different from the path variable. The variables where we can define at path level. That means at endpoint level, you can define the variables. It's basically another way of parameterizing the endpoint. So this is another way of parameterizing the endpoint by using path variables. Okay. So now let's go come back to Postman. So if you see, this is my endpoint to get all products, right? I just want to save this and let me send the request and see the response. If I send the request and this is the response I got, that means I got all the products. How many products we have? Product ID 1, 2, 3. This has a title of the product, right? Men's coat jacket, and what is the price of the product, description, what is the category, and right, all these. So you have total how many products we are getting? I'm getting almost like 20 products, correct? So now I want to define a path variable. Before that, let us go back here, get a single product. So for getting a single product, you can simply append the URL with slash forward slash and 1. Okay, so that means let's say I want to get a product with ID 5. Simply forward slash 5 and send the request. So this will get a single product. It's going to give you the single product with ID 5. I want to get a product of ID 7, for example. Yes, it is giving me the product ID 7. So now, do you really think hard coding the product ID in the endpoint is the best practice? No, it's not a good practice. You should not hard code this, because when we start automating our test case, right? So you cannot use any hard coded value in the path or in the endpoint. Now, what we can do? So this is where we can start using path variables. Okay, what I'm going to do, the path variable starts with the colon. So here, after products, instead of defining the product ID, I want to introduce my path variable. How? Colon. Path variable starts with colon anytime. Okay, colon. So if you see here, you can see parameter value here, parameter tab. Okay, this is where path variable reflects. As soon as I enter colon, and here I'm going to specify prod ID. See, when I'm typing, it is giving you the path variables tab. It appeared. See, as soon as I delete this again, see, it went off. Colon product. See, below it is reflecting product ID. Right? So basically, the path variable is a key value pair. You're going to define the key. Product ID is my key. Product ID is one of the path variable. And what is the value? So let's assume I want to define the value as 5. If I run this, now it should return the product ID 5. Now this product ID is a variable for me. And the value that I am passing, I'm going to pass here instead of in the URL. Let's say I want to have a product ID value as 1. When I send it, this 1 value will be passing here. So I am getting the 1, product ID 1. In the same way, product ID 2. So now we have defined a path variable to your endpoint. For example, I remove this value and send this. What happens? We'll see. See, it is not giving me anything. Let us go to console. Okay, let us go to console. Clear the console here. Okay, I've already explained you about the console, how to debug. We have a separate session. I already published a video, YouTube video for debugging. How can you debug the Postman while running your tests and test scripts? So I would recommend you guys to visit my previous videos. Okay, so if I send this now, what I'm doing, I'm not sending any value. Then what happens, if you see here, see the endpoint is pushed as colon product ID. That's why I'm not getting any response here. I'm not getting any response. Let's say I am passing the value 2. Now send it. So if you see here, the new request, let me collapse the old request, and this is my new request. You can see here, the URL has been sent as product slash, instead of product ID, the value came as 2 from path variables, right? And I got the response. This is my response body. It gave me the product ID 2 response, right? So basically, now where we are going to use this path variable. So when you actually start automating your test case, for example, I want to get a products list in my previous request, and whatever the output I get in the first API request message, I want to store one of the JSON path value, the output, into a variable, and That variable I would like to use as a path variable for my next request message. So basically, retrieving or taking a value from my first API response and use that value into a second API request as a path variable. So that is where it is useful. So instead of hard coding the value, better you use path variables. The variable that can be declared under endpoint, or it is another way of parameterizing your endpoint. So if you have any queries, leave your queries in the comment box. I'll try to respond to your queries. Hope you all understand the concept of path variables, how to create path variables, and what is path variable in Postman, and how can we use these path variables in Postman while automating your test cases. Please do subscribe to the channel, click on bell icon, you'll receive notifications whenever I publish more videos. Thank you.